All right, and we're live.
Hey, this is Dr. Ben Morrill. Welcome to episode 100 of Reptile Genetics Weekly. And we're live tonight. We want to, first of all, say thank you to all of you. I see several of you coming through on Instagram, and we already had some waiting on Facebook and YouTube. The way this is set up, we don't really have a way to have people wait on Instagram, but lots of people are coming in. So yeah, like we usually do for videos, I'll give you an update on samples. We'll have fast tests results going out every day this week. Sean was just saying that right when we get off of here, he'll be updating a whole bunch of fast tests from stuff we ran today. So we'll have a whole bunch of results going out right after we're done with this live. As far as panel results, those just went out. So if you were waiting on panel results and you didn't get them in this batch, then you're going to be in the next batch. Will probably be about 2 or 3 weeks out when we do the next panels. And thank you once again, all of you getting the new 45 morph panel and the spider panel. Those are both run in these panel runs. Really appreciate the support, and very, very happy to see that those are both helpful panels for you all, and kind of what you all voted for when we did voting. So it's cool to see that. We got lots of those coming through. Let's see. I guess that's really all I have for updates. And I'll just for any of you that are wondering, we're kind of aiming to do this for about an hour today. We've got several announcements to give y'all. Yeah, we'll kind of start going through that. We got Kayla and Sean here.
Hello. Just kidding, Sean.
Hey, sorry.
There, Sean.
Rolled over to the fridge real fast.
Oh, understand.
Your normal 4-minute spiel in like 3 minutes. So
nice.
2 minutes and 45 seconds, technically.
Sean, while you're over there, could you grab me a beer too? Cool.
Hey, I just got home from work. You guys have been
there you go.
hard at it. I just got here, so.
I know. But yeah, so here, I'll go ahead and add this on here. So, yeah, welcome to the live stream. We do have more Axanthics here in I guess is this the full Axanthic complex? I wrote that it was on Facebook, or is there more to it?
As far as we know right now, yeah, and it's not really complex because they're on different chromosomes.
That's true, yeah. I guess it's not the same kind of complex. Yeah, makes sense.
They don't travel together. They're not you know, in the same gene or even on the same chromosome, but they are ones that, you know, those of you that have been watching this already know. But GCR, Axanthic, and MJ. We now know those are the same thing. And then with Black Axanthic and TSK, found out those are the same thing. So I see some people are asking about the dark phase Axanthics. No news yet. That one's going to be difficult because we already know the causative mutations for, you know, the main Axanthic looks. But in that case, to be able to find what makes them darker, that's another trek that we have to go on. And have to have quite a few samples that are, you know, for sure dark or for sure not dark. So it's kind of like the high OD project where it'll take some time. We're working on it, but it won't go super fast. It'll take time.
Fair enough. Oh, are we going to be at Tinley? I know there's one coming up, and I know there's one in September.
So the one coming up, right? Yeah, the one this next weekend, we will not be at. We haven't made it to a March one yet. Maybe we'll try to next year. We were actually these last few days talking about all the shows that are going on, and there's a lot that we are going to, but there's so many cool shows that we would love to make it to. So anyway, we won't be at the one in March, but the one in October, at least one, maybe both of us will be there.
That's our anniversary show. So we both try really hard to make it to that one, even if we have to skip the March one. That's really where RGI came to life, was the October Tinley show many years ago.
Yeah. Good stuff. And we do have, okay, so Those of you who are asking, like, hey, which ones are compatible? Yes. So all of those Axanthics are technically 3 different tests. And we are like trying to spoil you guys this time around by giving you like a buy 2 get 3 deal. We had been talking about like not really having any deals again until like June maybe, but well, surprise. It's going on now.
Yeah, so what we'll do, we'll be able to look and see, as long as you purchase 2 Axanthic tests in the month of March, so now through the end of March, and then just write on the bag, just say all Axanthic, and we'll be able to see you paid for 2 in March, and we'll run the 3rd one for free. So that way, because we've already seen several people not only ordering an Axanthic test, but also in the panels saying, hey, I don't know for sure which Axanthic this is. So we figured this is something that will be helpful now that we can test for, the GCR/MJ as well. And that gives us the opportunity to be able to do that test for people, help them be able to figure out for sure what Axanthic they have.
Yeah.
And even better to be able to get it. It's kind of funny, this buy 2, get the 3rd free. So you're getting all of those Axanthic tests for $65. And that's what our original price for 1 test was when we first started 2.5 years ago. And we've been able to bring the price down. And in this case, we're giving you a deal where you get 3 tests for that same price of when we started for 1 test. And that's thanks to all of you, your support. We love seeing the volume go up and then be able to bring the prices down to be able to help you all as well.
Definitely. Actually, I'm curious about this one too, from Prophecy Exotics and Gaming. So is Het Red Axanthic HRA not technically an Axanthic?
I mean, it's certainly in the black-eyed, or not black-eyed, the 8-ball complex.
Mm-hmm.
So I would kind of, if I was thinking about Het Red Axanthic or Red Axanthic, even though it has that name, I would lump it with the 8-ball complex, not really the Axanthics. But yeah, it does have a, somewhat of a reduction in like a Axanthic has, or, at least reduced Axanthic, if it's not completely without the xanthophores or whatever. So yeah, that's a good point. But it's when we do have it be part of some group, it'll be part of the 8-ball complex.
I just noticed this. Hi, Sean. You're welcome.
People are like, hello, Genesis. And I'm like, hey, that's actually me. So
it's your carpet cleaning company.
That's right.
Yeah. If you guys want to go give nice reviews on his carpet cleaning company, you should.
That's right.
Yes, you travel all over the country.
Yes, exactly.
Someone's asking in the comments, they missed the deal. If you want to put that up again, Kayla, it's actually Professor's Pythons. So
hi, Professor's Pythons.
Yes. So we're going to have it where if you pay in the month of March, if you pay for 2 Axanthic tests, we'll do the 3rd one for free. So you're able to find out, any of you that have Axanthics, you're not for sure which line they are. That'll be it. Save you a little money and figuring that out.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody was, because we're talking about Axanthic, somebody asked about Joliffe a little bit further up.
Oh, yeah.
Joliffe. That for a second.
Where is that? There we go. What? No Joliffe?
So with that one, send us sheds. We will test them. I just haven't gotten, I think I've gotten like 1 or 2 Joliffe sheds. I mean, I've really gotten very, very few. So even if I ran the couple, the 2 or 3 that I have, and I got some kind of answer, I still wouldn't, be able to tell you for sure. I really need to have, at least 10 or 15 or something like that to feel like we know for sure what it is, and not just like, a mix up or whatever. So I've only got a couple of Joliffe sheds. So if you or anyone have Joliffes, send them in and we will run them. And if they test negative for all 3 tests we have right now, then we'll start down that road to map that one too.
As the guy who answers all the customer service emails and messages and things like that, I will say that I've had maybe a half a dozen people ask about Joliffe, like seriously, in 2 years. It's very, very rare. Yeah. So there's just, like Prophecy said, it's barely around nowadays. I can confirm that as many sheds as we're processing now, and as much as people ask about what we're working on, Joliffe is very rarely even brought up. So that corresponds with what Ben was saying. If we're not getting the sheds, that makes total sense to me, because I hardly ever get requests for it ever.
Fair. That's the struggle of liking more niche projects. Granted, I love those. I say as a rat snake person. Take a drink for Kayla mentioning black rats again. And but yeah, no. Especially if you have like people who have like outcrossed different versions of that, more sheds from that have more genetic diversity are the absolute best for helping us find those sorts of things. So yeah. JMH Reptiles is asking if we need Trojan sheds.
Yes, we can use lots more. Sorry, I'm the only one that can see and answer the Instagram posts. So if you see me wander off, that's because I'm interacting with the Instagram people. Yeah, so we definitely need lots more Trojan. I do have a few. There's some people, 2 or 3 people have sent a few in. But yeah, I definitely need more Trojan. White lace, yeah, definitely. We don't really need more lace sheds, but if you have white lace, yeah, we could use a few more of those.
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome.
That's one of the ones that we're expecting a lot of data back on.
Ooh, yay. Because whenever you run the panels, you get a lot of data back too, right? Because you like those come with research.
That's different on the panel runs. Those are ones that I already have an idea where we want to design a test. There's a different really big sequencing run where we send it to like a $2 million sequencing machine that someone else owns. So that's a different type of run where we're looking for something we don't know where it is. That goes to another company and they run that and give us a whole bunch of data. So I'll get a big old data drop here in the next, couple weeks, 4 weeks, something like that, hopefully. And it's one of those things where there's lots of people that use those centers, and sometimes we're in line for a while, and other times they get it back to us fairly quick. So we'll just have to see, but it's probably going to be about a month, I would imagine.
Yeah. Also, hi, Clover's Reptiles. So speaking of people asking about Stranger, I figured I'd go ahead and bring up sheds that we are looking for, like specifically. Granted, if it's something we don't currently test for, we can totally use sheds for it. But sometimes we look for specific ones. Super Strangers in particular are on that list. Actually, the first one you see here.
Yes. Yeah. So we have enough like single, like, het for stranger, just normal strangers. We probably have enough of those. But if you have any homozygous or super stranger, I know those are fairly rare, but anyone that has those that haven't already sent us a shed for research, we could use more of those.
Yeah.
We do have data coming back, that exact same run that we were just talking about, that we'll get lace data on. We will also get that. We will get Stranger and Mahogany, and we'll get more Monsoon. We'll get more Monarch. We'll get more. What else? There's a whole bunch of them that we'll be getting more data back on, but those are all ones that will be in that batch. So we'll get a whole bunch of stuff that I can sit through and design and try out. And so hopefully we'll get several more this time. So there's a chance, here before too long, we could have Stranger and Mahogany, and finally Monarch and Monsoon and Paint and Paint/Sentinel, like all those ones we've been trying for forever. Or we may,
it's like at least a year now.
Hit a wall again. No, it's been more like 2 years for Monsoon.
Ooh. Yeah. It's a little bit of a meme now.
At this point, Monsoon has surpassed everything else as far as difficulty in finding it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're in open communications with people in Europe and Canada and US, all of us, working together on Monsoon, and we've tried a lot of things. There's been one heck of a lot of money spent on trying to figure it out. And like we said, the last live we did, we do have for Monsoon only. That's the only one we have like this, but for Monsoon, we do have a very good test that's about 98% correct. So if you have posset Monsoons you'd like to have tested, if it's just animals you're going to keep, you can't like put them for sale and say what the results were, because they may change. And as soon as we do have a really good Monsoon test going, if you have paid for us to do some Monsoon testing for you with this kind of paid test.
No, that's not how that works. I don't mean to interrupt you, Ben, but that's not how that works.
What do you mean?
I do mean to interrupt you. The Monsoon test is one of those things that if you pay for a different shed test, like if you've got other stuff coming in, particularly on bulk orders, and you have a couple of Monsoons you want us to run for you, no problem. But you're really not supposed to send us a Monsoon shed to test for you for free just because. That's
no.
That's not how that works. If you're already sending other paid samples in and you have a couple of Monsoon samples, you'd like us just to give you that's what it says so far. We'll do those for you for free just because, as long as you promise not to put them out there and say RGI says this is a het or homozygous or whatever. We know the test isn't 100%. We're not selling the test. And if you're paying for other stuff and you just like us to do you a solid because, you've got some things that you'd like us to look at, we'll do that for you. But that's really the only one that we'll do that on because it's the only one that's that high of a successful percentage. And we promised everybody we wouldn't, because we're working with this with everyone else. And so we promised that we wouldn't sell it. So when it comes time to actually come back around and redo all of those, if you want us to redo a Monsoon test, you're going to have to pay for it at that point.
Yeah.
So stop giving shit away, Ben. That's right. Well, it's important to me that we honor our word to the folks that we're working with, right? So they're working hard to find it. We're working hard to find it. And whoever finds it first doesn't matter. We all promise to share it with each other. And I don't mind helping people in the hobby advance their projects as best as we can, but I'm not going to have them pay for it. But if you want me to double check that when we have a working test, you're going to have to pay us for it. That's the trade-off. So send me what you've got if you've got other stuff already coming to me. But yeah, it's not a test that just send me 12 Monsoons and we'll just run those for you because they actually cost money for us to run.
Oh yeah. So
buy a couple tests and send me what you got and I'll hook you up.
Yes. Yeah. Like I said last time, is email Sean. So
yeah.
Yes.
I don't ever deal with those details. So it's good that he's here this time.
Yeah. It's really, really important that we honor our word with those guys. I don't, they've been good to us. We tried to be good to them. And, I don't want to, cross any swords with anybody when we're all trying to find this together. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind if they're testing some for some people as hopefully you can still hear me. Okay.
Yeah, there you are.
But yeah, when it's time for the real test to come out, even if you got the 98%er, if you want us to run that same shed again, it's going to have an actual price assigned to it. But for right now, if we can help, just because you guys are help keeping the lights on and, keeping us in business, we'll do what we can for you.
Yes.
But that is the only one we're doing like that. Last time, some people thought that maybe that would apply to other things like Monarch, and that's no others. It's just Monsoon. 98% is very close. It's still not official, and it still could change. But any of the others are significantly lower than that. So we're not doing that with any others.
Right. I mean, the problem with Monsoon is if we run another 200 sheds, our 98 number could go down to 88%. Right now, so far, it's 98% accurate, but that doesn't mean it can't go down from where we're at. That's just with the samples that we've run so far. So we have to be super careful with how we move forward with that one.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so
don't make fun of me drinking my beer, Wiz. I just got here from work. It's my daily cold beer after work.
There you go. Been some issues with people listing the unofficial paint test on Morph Market already, so I get it.
Yeah, that's not from us.
No, that's not us.
Yeah, anything that's unofficial, you don't want to be advertising. I would imagine other testing companies will feel the same as us. We don't want advertising that if it's not an official test yet.
Yeah, and it makes them look it's not good on the breeder, and it also doesn't look good on the genetic testing company. So so that's a bummer. Excited for when we actually have an official paint test, though. That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's coming.
Yeah. Nick,
can I interject one more time before you drop another question?
Please do.
Sorry, Nick, I just cut you off. I don't know I'm sure everybody's aware because of the ads that you ran, but you didn't make a big deal out of it when we started, but this is episode number 100, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know why we didn't talk about that, but yay for 100 episodes. I got to be honest with you. I didn't think we would have the stamina, but it continues to really roll. So
Muscle. Ah. Look
Jesus
at us
Christ.
go.
No, Kenny, I didn't say free Monsoon test.
Why not?
Yeah, no, man. Episode 100. I just wanted to chime in and say I think that's pretty cool. I'm not
Right?
a YouTube personality person. I never wanted to be the face of the company. That's all Ben. So when Ben and Kayla got the idea, I'm like, sure, go for it. And in the back of my mind, I was like, we'll see how this goes. And to my surprise, you guys have killed it, man. Congratulations. It's really taken off. And it kind of fills a niche. I think you guys in the comments can let us know what you think, but I really think you guys are filling a niche that's been needed for a while. Somebody with the education and actually doing the scientific work to come in and talk about the genes that we all love so much in these animals. So
yeah. It's awesome. There's a lot to be said about doing doing science communication. Like that's its own thing. And I feel like this is just another way that we can like help, play nice between the world of science and also the reptile hobby, because they haven't always played so nicely together. So we like it when they do.
Anyway, very cool. Episode 100. I'm pretty stoked about that. I think that's really neat.
Mm-hmm.
And to answer this question really quick, confirm or deny that Monsoon and Special travel together. They're definitely on very different places. There should not be any in genetics talk, you'd call that linkage disequilibrium or linkage. There's not any linkage like with banana and sex. There's 96% of the time that travels whichever sex chromosome it's on. That's where your bananas will be in the offspring. That's a really high percentage of linkage. But yeah, I would not expect there to be any linkage between Monsoon and Special.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, Kayla. You had that question from Nick from earlier. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Blood python DNA. How's that coming?
It's good. We can definitely use more sheds. There's some stuff rolling. But yeah, the more sheds we can get, the more we can do for you. We do have another batch going for other species. So we just started to have some corn snake morph testing be available. And we'll be able to do that in other species some more as well, including the other pythons like bloods and retics and berms. So
Ben and I were just talking about this yesterday, and we agreed to throw together another plate of corns, berms, bloods, retics, so that we can get a bunch of that data back. You guys have been super responsive in sending us sheds. So now it's our job to take those sheds and send them off and get the sequencing done so we can start looking. And, fingers crossed, but hopefully a lot of these common mutations take too long for us to find.
Oh, you cut out just a little bit. It was after looking for these common mutations.
Yeah, Ben could probably finish my thought, but the hope is that some of the more common mutations anyway should be relatively easy to find if they're in similar locations to, where we know they exist in a ball python, right? So albinism, lav albino, fire, pied, things like that.
Yeah. Let's see.
So we have a question in Instagram about sex determination in bloods also. So yeah, we are working on that. Not only with bloods, but other pythons and other species that we don't have sex determination tests for yet. So yeah, we are putting good effort into that, and hopefully we'll have something good here before too long. But as those of you know that follow this, you never know if it'll be in a week or a month or a year or longer. So we're working on it, and bloods are one that we would like to get. There's a lot of people that have asked for blood sex determination.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's one of those that we often say, yeah, we're working on it, but that's legitimately one that we're putting a lot of effort into. We've had some advancements in that direction that we think are going to hopefully help us break the barrier, and maybe we can have, almost all the python species in a relatively short amount of time.
That would be cool.
Hopefully after that, boas and
yeah.
I would definitely one that we've made progress on.
Yeah, I would love to do just a reptile genetics episode on like why are pythons and boas so weird as far as like their sex chromosomes. Like why is that so odd compared to your vipers and lapids, colubrids, etc., who have the ZW chromosomes?
Yeah, we can do a good episode on that. That's pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Talking specifically about the kind of structure of sex chromosomes and things like that. And we're learning more and more about it. Even just, I think the paper just came out and
Did it?
or something. Well, no, I'm saying as recent as 2018, we thought
Gotcha.
that boas and pythons were also ZW. so it's
that's right.
thing that we've learned, that pythons and boas are XY, and yeah. So yeah, we should do an episode on that. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, that would be fun. Let's see. So Wiz is asking about bull snakes. I know that we're doing colubrid stuff. So do you think bull snakes are a far cry from that?
Yeah. So Summer from, I think it's Summer Snakes.
Summer Snakes. Yeah.
She sent us a whole bunch of Pituophis stuff.
Mhm.
There's been a handful of other people that have sent pit stuff too. So
Yes.
yeah, it's coming.
Excited. I love bull snakes so much.
And we'll have to see if we can get Summer to come on, and as actually her parents, TSK, the Sutherlands, Dan and Colette, that I worked with.
That's right.
PhD. So it would be kind of fun to.
I think we lost him.
Oh, did you lose me?
Oh, I was hearing you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So hopefully we can do an episode and have Summer talk about pits, and then also be able to reminisce a little bit with Dan and Colette. That'd be a pretty fun episode.
Sweet. Let's see. Herbert HB Reptiles. There's redhead sheds. I know there's at least somebody else we had on here. Is it JMH Reptiles? Somebody else was like, yeah, do redhead testing. So there's at least like 2 different people I know that are sending those.
Yeah, we've had a small number come in, not enough yet to do anything. But so yeah, if you know someone that's got quite a few, that would be really good if we can get somebody to send in, 5 or 10. If we could have five people send in 5 or 10 each, then we're really in business. I know that's kind of a tough ask, but yeah, if you know people that have them, tell them to save 5 or 10. That's really all we need from like one keeper, unless you have different lines you got from different people. We could use 4 or 5 from each line. That's fine, like from different keepers. We just need to get the best sampling of the genetic variation within the animals that have that mutation as we can. That makes it so the software can find the actual mutation faster. So
yeah. Nick from the Reptile Pueblo is asking, with Ultramel A and B, do we have any examples of both and know the visual differences? Or is it kind of like DG? Well, DG thing is also more complicated. We've determined that's mostly just one.
Yeah.
That's its own thing. I'll let Ben and Sean handle that.
But yeah, the DG, ABC, we know because of you all helping us doing all that. I think it ended up being a little over 550 free DG tests we did. That's just DGC is the one that matters. We, in working with people like Canova, where they have a lot of desert ghosts that they're working with, they didn't see a difference because I thought, maybe some of them would look a little different, like maybe a different color, like maybe a more axanthic look or a more yellow look, but it didn't seem to correlate. There's some reason why on a different chromosome those got selected for, but it doesn't seem to be for looks from what Canova's seen. So anyway, but yeah, with Ultramel A and B, it's the same situation as yellow belly. So that's 2 different mutations in the same gene, and they, as far as we can tell, they look the same. So that I have run animals that are Ultramels that are het for A and het for B. So you call that a compound heterozygote, which really means it's visual, but it's visual for 2 different mutations. So I've had those, and I've had homozygous A's. I think we did end up getting a homozygous B from Jim Sargent. So I think we've had all 3 come through. When we've asked people, that they can't tell the difference. So and so far, same with yellow belly. There's a -1 and a -17, and both seem to give the same look. So it's just something that we see on the DNA side, but not really something that you see on the breeder side. So we have to, instead of just doing one test for Ultramel, one test for yellow belly, we actually have to do 2 different tests for each yellow belly test, 2 different tests for each ultramel test, so that we make sure you know what you have.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the criteria that we use to determine how we're going to market the tests too, is that if they do the same thing, they're compatible and we can't see any visual difference, then we just sell it as a single test, even though we run 2 tests in the background to check for it. Right. So, but there are cases where that's a similar mechanic is happening, where it's 2 mutations of the same gene, but they actually look different. And so those those are marketed differently. You look at, asphalt gravel. You look at black pastel and Barnhart black pastel. So it's the exact same mechanic that's happening there, but those animals appear differently when you look at them. Therefore, they get their own test, because some people want to move in one direction, some people want to move in another direction. That's usually how we figure out how to decide how to market it. If Barnhart's a really good example. If someone's taken the time to go, look, my line looks different. I've been working with this line, and it actually does look different. They deserve to have their name attached to it, or whatever name they decide to call that project, right? So that's really, we kind of leave it up to how the animal looks, and if anyone in particular put in a lot of time and effort to make that mutation their own, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything on Instagram?
Let's see.
Look at Sean's.
Nothing else.
Okay.
I think we've answered the questions that came up on there. It's just people coming on and saying hi.
Awesome.
LTD
right.
Morph says hi. Green Line Morphs.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, we got lots of people joining in. Leviathan joined in. Crawford Reptile Company. So that he's from Utah. Hey, I remember trading or actually doing a breeding loan with him back in probably like 06, 07 with a pied female. And we made some Pastavi het pieds way back when pieds and combo morph het pieds were worth thousands of dollars still.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So several people keep asking about DG, and I just want to kind of say, do we know more about Desert Ghost than we let on? Yes. Do we talk about it really in forums like this? No. We learned a lesson the first time we released what we thought was going on with DG. Now, until we know for sure exactly what's happening, we really don't talk about stuff. But DG is not simple. It is a simple recessive, but there's obviously more going on. As Wiz pointed out, it can be affected by other genes where you get one that's dark and one that's bright. Do we know exactly what's going on? No. That's really why we don't talk about it. We have some pretty solid theories, and we're pretty close to proving a few of them out. When we do, trust me, we'd love to talk about it, but we can't really talk about any of it right now. As ball python breeders and genetic nerds like the rest of you, our initial response to the hobby was, let's just talk about everything as we think it's coming out and throw our theories out there and see what sticks. Yeah, that was a mistake. We don't want to do that anymore because we didn't realize the impact on the market that we would have. So now we're super careful about what we talk about and how we talk about it. But I have been saying to people in private for a long time, it's not as simple as it looks. It is a simple recessive, that's true. But much like, our OD test works for Orange Dream, it doesn't work for high OD. Well,
it does.
That's because something else is going on there, right?
Yeah.
So,
but we can't tell them apart yet.
But we can't tell the difference yet, and until we can, we really don't talk much about it. But there's definitely other stuff going on.
Yeah.
Until we can prove it, we can't really talk about it. But if you guys think that there's something else going on there, like Wiz mentioned about his animal, you're probably not incorrect, but we don't know exactly what yet.
Fair enough. So we're just not saying anything until we know for sure.
I get that question, and I get the OD high OD question almost every day.
I believe it.
Stuff. That's not an exaggeration. It's almost every day.
Fight Club, but for shed
test. Shed test. What? No, we don't talk about Fight Club. Well, yeah, I just don't want to affect the market in weird ways. Which I get it.
There was a question about how to send sheds in.
Yes. So if you want to send in sheds, I have a graphic just for that. You can also go to, I think I might have a little banner here. If not, you can literally just screenshot this right now. So we just need a quarter size little patch of shed. You don't have to send the entire thing. Tell us what the animal's ID or name is, and then write down any morphs, any possible morphs, including hets. Morph combos are fine. You don't have to send the whole thing. Also, wild types are fine as long as you know for sure it's a wild type. And there's either you know the hets or you don't know, or you know that there are no hets, I should say. Who it was produced by, if you have the info, any lineage info, and you can send it to, let me unblock it here. There we go. And you can send it to that address. That's to most of all the research stuff typically goes to Ben's P.O. box over in Virginia, whereas a lot of the other testing stuff usually goes to Texas. So that's why we have those two states going on there. Hi, Colorado Cold Bloods. And Don Keller said hi. Hello.
What's up, Don? A couple of people have asked now about if we'll still test for A and B. Yeah, we absolutely can, but you have to basically purchase the DGC test. We'll give you a DGC result, and then A and B will come later. Those have to be sequenced with the panels. So it's a 3 to 5 week wait on average for those.
Fair enough. Let's see.
For paint specifically, we don't really need more sheds. If you have like the homozygous visual full paint, you could still send those in as research sheds and that they will get used. But really with paint, it's just getting enough sequencing done on the sheds that we have, kind of like Monsoon and Monarch. We don't necessarily need more sheds. We need more sequencing depth because kind of the level we usually do is not cutting it for some of these. They're just more of a pain to get. So,
hey, can you take 2 minutes and talk about that in more detail, Ben, about what you mean when you say depth, so people can understand kind of what we're looking for?
Yeah. So, trying to think of a good, I guess you could say kind of the needle on the haystack thing. Some needles are really big and they look exactly what you would expect to see. And they're in places that, like in a mouse or in a zebrafish or an angelfish or all these different animals, they're in a gene that causes albino or causes axanthic or causes hypo or something like that. So it's a needle that looks like we expect it to look, and it's really big and it's in a place where we expect it to be. Then it's a lot easier for us to find that needle in a haystack. When the needle doesn't look like a normal needle and it's in a weird spot, then if we just do some sequencing, light sequencing across the whole genome, which is the cheapest, fastest thing to do and works sometimes, especially for ones that the needle looks like what we expect and is where we expect it to be. But if it's a weird needle, it's really small and it's not the shape and look that we're expecting, and it's in a stack of hay in a place that we didn't know matters for color and pattern, and it's a lot harder. So we have to do a lot more sequencing. So that depth of sequencing just means instead of doing 1 or 2 passes on the whole genome, we might have to do 5 or 10 or something like that. So we have enough information to be able to say, okay, here's a general location, and then we can dig in and figure out where it's at. So that's why things like clown, we got that on our first try really easy. It was a needle that was what we expected it to look like in a place that made sense, and it was really quick. We did 1 round of light sequencing across the whole genome of like 30 or 40 clowns and 30 or 40 that didn't have clown, and it was easy. But one like Monsoon, we've done multiple rounds where we sequenced more individuals and we've done deeper sequencing, and we still can't figure out where that needle is. Maybe it doesn't even look at all like a needle. Maybe it,
crochet hook.
Yeah, completely different. And it's in a weird stack of hay that we never would have guessed. We think we know from other animals what it does, so we don't look there. And maybe eventually we'll find out, oh, well, in ball python, it does it something different than we see in other animals. So that's why the deeper that sequencing is, the better we know the little intricacies of what's going on, and will help us find those more difficult to find mutations.
Just from a scientific standpoint, I mean, ball pythons have X number of mutations now. Let's call it 150. There's probably more than that, but let's call it 150. Can you think of any other animals that have that many known mutations?
For color and pattern?
Color and pattern?
I mean, there's a ton that's known about Drosophila or fruit flies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a lot there. And like,
there's a reason that I asked that question is I don't think that there are. There are some that are probably close, but I don't believe that there are. And if you consider that a lot of these mutations that we found as hobbyists, just through, you know, selective breeding and having a good eye for this sort of thing, a lot of these mutations are in places in genes that, how do I say this the right way? Don't correspond to anything else or haven't been discovered in anything else yet. But let's just say paint exists in a gene on a chromosome and affects that pattern in such a way, the color rather, that no one's ever looked at that gene in horses or pigs or mice or whatever. And when that's found in ball pythons and it gets thrown out there in a scientific paper, it becomes a valid place to look for other things in other species. So I only throw that out there because I think that's one of the cool things that we do is because of the animals that we work with, I think we're starting to find things in places that you can't find a mutation in another species for anything else. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Ben, but I don't think that I am. There's enough stuff out there that has been discovered just through breeding that as we find it, when a paper is written on it, it probably does not correspond to anything else out there as far as where it's located and what it does.
Yeah,
which is really cool. From if you're the nerdy doctor like Ben is, you get to put your name on a paper for something that's literally a brand new discovery to science.
Yes. Yep, and that's something that we'll do. I don't know if it'll happen in 2025. It may, but yeah, we'll have some publications coming out for some of these that we found, and there's some really interesting things that are similar to what you see in mice and rats and other things, but there are some things that are not what you would expect from how it acts in other animals. And then, like Sean was just bringing up, no doubt there will be some are like, it makes absolutely no sense that that's, you know, where it's at, because it's not like that in any other animals. But at least in ball pythons it is. So yeah, fun stuff. And then now that we're branching out and looking in other species, I would imagine we'll see some other cool and interesting things as well. And we'll make some cool papers.
So excited.
Ben, did you say we have some tri-stripe on the plates that we have out for sequencing right now too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've done a fair amount. So first of all, we like to do shed donor shout outs. Colorado Cold Bloods did an awesome job of sending a bunch of stuff for us, bunch of sheds. So we have done quite a bit of tri-stripe sequencing, and we have more going. So yeah, that's one we are actively working on. So we will have more data in a month, and then, you know, we'll see how that goes. And like I said, it could be less, could be more, depending on the queue that we're in, if we move fast or move slow. But yeah, we've got more coming, and that's one we're definitely excited to get to.
If anybody has, you know, a few six figures they want to toss our way so we can get our own, you know, sequencing machine, though, that might go faster.
Yeah, that would make it a lot faster.
You know,
we only need 2 mil for that.
Yeah, only 2 mil. It's fine.
That's it. As I've heard before, the best way to become a millionaire as a reptile breeder is to start out as a billionaire.
Yes. Let's see. Yeah, no,
Speaking of shed donor shout outs, we haven't talked about the new website. We will here in a few minutes, but
yeah.
If you are one of those folks, or you know someone who sent us a bunch of sheds, make sure that we know who you are. Make sure when you're sending those research sheds in, your name, address, phone number, whatever contact information you want to give, everything you can put on the bag, put it on the bag. The new page, every gene that we work with and we develop a test for, can have all kinds of information on it. One of the areas of that of those pages is going to be a shed donor shout out to, hey, I want to say special thanks to these people for sending us these sheds and helping the hobby develop a test for that. So if you are sending in research sheds, don't cut yourself short, man. You have an opportunity to be permanently listed as one of the people that gave us the sheds that we needed. And ultimately, you'll probably be tagged in any research papers that we do on them as well. So
Yeah.
make sure you're giving us your contact information so we've got it, so we can give you credit where credit's due.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I haven't even seen I haven't seen any of the like mock-ups for the new website too, so I'm so excited for that. All right.
Yes. We'll have lots of cool stuff on there. It'll take us a while to get to it all, but we've got cool stuff coming.
Yeah. Hey Ben, how's your home studio coming along? Is it done yet? No pressure.
Yeah, so that's another thing we were hoping we'd be able to announce on this 100th episode, but I'm slow going. That's something I'm doing part-time, on the side, and so many other things going on. Sean's like, you should hire someone to help you out, and I almost did, and then that guy moved to Florida, the guy that was going to help me, and like, man,
dang, you scared him. You scared him out of the state.
Yeah, I'm about to tell him our guy just needs to go ahead and pay for a guy because the show's doing so well. We really need him to have a more professional place.
I grew up about an hour and a half from where Elizabeth Smart was, and just the thought of bringing people in when I have kids that I don't know freaks me out. So I'm weird about that. Also, my parents and my wife's parents both had a child pass away. So like my wife and I are like, I don't know, probably overboard.
Oh.
So yeah, anyway, I'm weird about that. So I'm getting it done slowly but surely. And if somebody that in the near this area in Virginia knows someone that they trust that can come help me, then I would do that. But otherwise, I'm like a little out about it.
I mean, it's not like you have a wife and 4 kids and also do an insane amount of genetics work here. So emphasis on the very tiny, no pressure though. It is okay.
We're getting there. But yeah, I am excited for that. We'll have right now I set up like in different places in my house, and you set it up and take it down each time and stuff like that. It was nice to have a dedicated spot. We're almost there. We're working on it. Oh
yeah. And by the way, guys, we are gonna start live streaming, like making that more of a regular thing on Thursdays. So we're going to give that a try. Hope you guys like that way. You guys can more regularly just pop in here and start asking questions. We'll bring people on to join us, or, just show off cool stuff that's going on in the reptile hobby. So you get a little extra me and Ben time during the week.
Yeah, so that'll give us a chance to talk about, what we're seeing in social media, cool things people are hatching out, and cool projects, and talk about shows coming up. And it'll be difficult because really the only time that Kayla and I can both do it is kind of during the day. So it'll probably be, in the afternoon Eastern time on Thursdays. So it'll be hard for us to have guests on then because most people are at their job during that time. But yeah, we'll have some fun conversations, I think, and we can talk about what we've talked about in the show Tuesday night, and see what all questions you all have. Keep people more updated on what's going on.
Yeah. Let's see. Thank you, Wiz. We appreciate all the sheds you're sending. Let's see. From Nick. Nick again. Any news on the scrambler gene?
Not yet. I would need a lot more sheds.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a few. People have sent a few in, but yeah, we would need a lot more. And it seems like it's kind of complicated what one person calls a scrambler versus another. So that's one that I think is going to be difficult. That, kind of like a little bit with like paint and lace and our mandarin, and, some of those where sometimes people call stuff things that maybe it's not. And, I see that potentially being a problem with scrambler too. So that's one that we would need to have a lot of sheds. I don't think 10 or 20, maybe even 40 would cut it. We'd have to have quite a few. So if it's something people really want, we're going to have a lot of sheds come in.
Fair enough. Let's see. I like this comment that Mike Calderon, I hope I pronounced that right, If not, you can hit me. You are literally doing a scientific version of a Kickstarter. I mean, kind of, yeah. Didn't we have? It wasn't a Kickstarter, but there was one point where I think when we were first getting the piebald gene working, I think we had something kind of like that.
Yeah, we did have was it a GoFundMe?
GoFundMe, yeah, that's what it was
for a while.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we
So
thought that having a goal of, I think our goal was like 10,000, and then we found out pretty quick that that was not even remotely close to what we would have to have.
Oh no!
It took like 5 times that to get done what we wanted to get done. So
wow, you know how it is.
But we're still thankful to the people that, sent thank yous out to all the people that donated to that, and we had donations and different things and giveaways and stuff. So that was good and definitely helpful. We really appreciated it. But yeah, we grossly underestimated how expensive that was going to be.
Once again, if anyone has an extra, 2 million laying around for a sequencer, that would be nice. Oh, just heard of us recently. Awesome. Hi, Tony. Have we done anything with Hognoses?
So we've got a good amount of sheds. People have done a good job with that. And that is part of, yes. And that's one a species that Kayla keeps and is near and dear to her heart. And they are super cute. That's one, when you have people in your snake room that aren't reptile people, you pull out a hognose. It's hard it's hard to be hating on a hognose. Still, some people still can, but it's a lot harder. They are cute. But yeah, we with the other species that we're working on, hogs are one of them. So I would expect in 2025 we'll have some tests in hognoses.
Awesome. Can't wait for that. I've still got, hopefully I'll have my first batch of hoggies this year if all goes well. So fingers crossed. Or first clutch, I should say. Let's see, Prophecy, can't wait for tonight. This is my first fast test. Yeah.
Right on, Prophecy.
Honestly, y'all are doing amazing, and I think shed testing in general, regardless of who's doing it, is better for the community as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something. My PhD was in animal science, and so I've seen where this has helped in captive breeding in horses and cattle and dogs, and it makes a significant difference. It helps breeders and keepers be able to make choices and be better informed and make better pairings and all those kinds of things. All improves. Also, from the outside looking in at us as captive breeders, people that we kind of look like a more legitimate industry if we kind of have some of those same things that other captive bred animals they have. So I think it helps make what we're doing more legitimate to other people. Like the New Yorker piece that got written was like a year and a half ago, something like that. They featured some stuff from Canova and some people that were at the Tinley Reptile Show. They interviewed, and so that was pretty cool. That's a little bit over time. 20 years ago when I first started really, getting on the internet, it was kind of a new thing for me to have email and internet and stuff when I was about, 15 to 20 in that range. And it was much more weird to say that you were keeping a reptile back then. Now, almost everyone you talk to, if they don't keep a reptile themselves, they have a friend that does, or, blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot more reptiles out there.
It's interesting you say that. I was talking to Darian today, and from the research he's done, because they're getting a little bit into some fish stuff on Morph Market, reptiles have kind of officially passed the aquarium hobby as far as like overall number of guesstimated animals for sale out there right now. And
that's exciting.
I just went out again. All this stuff.
There you are.
So reptiles may not be the last category anymore. They may actually be second to last. So we're moving on up in the world.
Yeah.
I literally had that conversation with him today.
That's too cool. Oh yeah. Sweet. Something cool just happened in the YouTube chat, actually. You go ahead, Sean.
Oh. Prophecy Exotics. I'm sorry, man. I don't know your name. I didn't look it up real quick. you said you were excited for results. I've got all the results for the last 2.5 business days that I'm going to update right after the show. So I just said, hey man, give me your order number and I'll update it live. And he gave me the order number and I grabbed it off of my results sheet and posted it. He sent in for a clown test and he's got a het clown. So
congrats.
His name Devin. Congrats, Devin. Definitely a het clown.
Woo! Awesome. So it's a Coral Glow, GHI, possible NG Stranger, and now het clown. Oh, what a beast!
Nice.
That might be something else we'll be able to do on Thursdays. Give a few people live results.
Oh, I would love that. Oh, that would be so much fun. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Too cool. Oh, and back to the part about, like more people having reptiles. Like, yeah, my brother's had snakes. Yeah, I get that a lot too, actually. It's still, I mean, you still get the standard, you keep that? Which, but I do get a lot of, oh yeah, my friend kept these, or my friend had a bearded dragon or something like that. So we love it.
Yes. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And with this question, as far as are Lori and red Axanthic the same, I don't have enough Lori sheds to tell you that for sure. I do have a handful. If I can remember, I can't remember the name. There's someone that sent in several. But anyway, I think it was Scales. I can't remember right now. But yeah, we've had some Loris come in, but not enough to know for sure. So any of you that have got Loris or know someone that has them, send them in and we will figure that out.
Oh yeah. Oh, couple rainbow sheds. How are we on those?
Definitely need lots more. Don't have very many. So yeah, if you have them or know people that do, send them in.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, hi Black Rock Balls.
Hey.
Oh, you're sending shed samples? What are you sending? And, anything on genetic blackback morph? I haven't heard of that one.
Nope. We would have to have sheds come in for that. I don't know if I have any at all. It's not very many. Then none come to mind. So
that's another one of those I don't think I've ever been asked about. Not one time in years.
Okay. Let's see. I know we have been asked about Mandarin sheds before. I don't know if are we do we have a decent amount of those, or do we still need more?
If you have homozygous visual mandarins, you're very confident are the real deal. Yeah, we could use more of those. If they're hets or you're not completely sure, we really need you to wait till we have a working test. So if we have sheds come in from something that's a pos head or might be in this case mandarin or het for mandarin or whatever, but we think that it's actually the real thing, then that just makes the process slower, the software slower. And like for me, I know it happened with TSK. There's some sent in labeled as TSK Axanthic, but they tested negative, and the way they were labeled, I thought they were homozygous. There's like 3 of them from one breeder. And so I needed to reach out to that person. I reached out. He's like, oh no, those are just possets. I was like, oh, okay. Then everything's okay. Otherwise it would have been, that test is no good. But so yeah, at this point for Mandarin, for ones that we're still doing a lot of sequencing, we really can only use the ones for sure what the genetics are. And it's especially helpful if they're homozygous. Obviously, some mutations, the homozygous ones don't live, so you can't really send those. But yeah, any of them you can send homozygous. That's really helpful.
Okay. Before we do the last few questions, we are at the 59-minute mark. We were aiming for about an hour. So if you guys have any last-minute questions, definitely throw them in the chat. Let's see. There was one. Oh, I liked this from Wiz. So do we know who we might be publishing papers through if and when we start publishing papers?
So we've done several episodes where we talk about the mutations that have been published in ball pythons. So like piebald, the most recent one was clown. So we talked about how the gene in humans that causes you to have red hair, that's the same gene that the clown mutation's in. So that's kind of our red-haired gene for ball pythons. But yeah, so you can look at those episodes because we always put up the citation, so you would know exactly what scientific journal that got published in. They go in different journals, different times. As scientists, what we usually do is we want to be able to have our scientific research reach the most people possible. And so each of these journals have what's called an impact factor. That's kind of a measurement of how broadly distributed the information is that goes into that scientific journal. And so we may publish in one time and a completely different one another time, just because we're essentially shopping this cool scientific information we have. We're shopping it to the most powerful journal we can. So they don't necessarily all go to like one journal. A lot of the time they'll go different places. So it's hard to know right now until we have a paper all ready to go. And sometimes you submit to one place and get rejected and submit to another one. And it's a process that takes quite a bit of time.
Yeah. I do think it's so funny that clowns are kind of the redhead gene for us, but also we have a different redhead. Oh, Sean, you were raising your hand.
Yep. I got a couple of things I want to go over, and I know we're at an hour already. If you scroll up just a little bit, there's a Tess Coleman in the chat. That's my daughter. So everyone say hello to Tess, my daughter.
Hi, Tess.
I've done a shout out for her once before. She has a podcast called Freaky Faunophiles. It's a little green chameleon where they talk about crazy kind of animal relationships. She's a marine biologist, but also a aspiring podcaster. So you guys go check out her podcast for me. You'd be doing me a favor. We were going to talk a little bit about the new website. So I just want to mention that really quick. Our current site is broken, but rather than fix it, the new one should be coming live on Friday. All of the pages there will be working except for the most important one, which is the genes page. It will show what genes we have available for sale, but that page is going to be wicked cool, guys. It's going to have all kinds of stuff on it, from multiple pictures of what that phenotypical animal should look like in het homozygous forms. We're going to have links to scientific papers, links to our YouTube videos where we talk about some of those specific genes. So as our YouTube show continues to grow, we should be able to add more links to all of those genes. There's going to be a shout out section. So anybody who's ever sent us any sheds to help us develop those tests, make sure we know who you are and then we've got your information so we can give you credit on the website, on those pages for each gene. We'll have in the top right-hand corner a really big grading scale. So all of our tests are generally graded, and you guys will be able to go and look those up. A+ is the best grade. That's a test that we've run over 1,000 samples on and has a scientific paper written about it, and we're 100% squared away. We know that test is fantastic, all the way down to like a C grade, which is still a really good test. It works really well, but no scientific paper. We haven't run thousands of sheds on it yet, so it's still kind of in that a surprise might come up. So all kinds of cool stuff like that. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but we'll have, like I said, links to videos and some logos for people that have, been super helpful as far as sending in sheds. So please make sure you guys check that out. Should go live Friday for the basic pages, and then 2 to 4 weeks after that, the full gene pages are going to be out there, and they should be pretty awesome. And then, one last plug for my daughter, Tess. I love you, Bug. Go check out the Freaky Fauna podcast for me. You'd be doing me a solid.
Will do.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
And yes, vanilla should be soon.
Yeah. Let's see. Mivarak 412 says, I have one GBB I can send you the shed if that helps. Yes, it can. And any thoughts on, I don't know what SH is, scaleless, micro, and microscope? Or is it microscale? Do they mean? That might have auto. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, you can send them in. I've had a small number for ball python, scaleless and scaleless head, microscale. But yeah, if that's a test that would be helpful to people, send them in.
Yeah. All right. Oh, I already hit that one. There we go. When are we going to start testing for the other red stripe and black pastel? I think we talked about the other black pastel. If there is, what worse? Actually, no, we didn't talk about these here. Go, Ben.
Yeah, as soon as we can, we will. We're working on both of those. We're very deep in both of those, and we're talking to people today again about sheds that we can get that will help us be able to iron that out. I don't know for sure, but it certainly could be that red stripe is similar to what we just talked about, Axanthics earlier. Those 3 different Axanthics look very similar. They're hard to tell apart, but they're on 3 completely different chromosomes. So they're not compatible at all. There's a chance that red stripe's doing that, and that's why it's been such a pain. We don't know. We'll hopefully find out soon. We do have a bunch more data coming for both red stripe and that 3rd line of black pastel. We have that coming in the next 2 to 4 weeks, like we've been talking about. So it's coming soon. And hopefully it will be definitive, but we never know for sure. But it's definitely something we're deep into.
Yeah. Do you want more sheds for black pastel, like for hunting down that 3rd line?
I would say right now, no. I've got several that I know tested negative, but and then like we've retested and tested the sire or dam that we thought that it came from, and we've done a good job of collecting both red stripe and black pastel.
Good stuff.
So
right now when we get paid samples, and it doesn't. It looks like a visual black pastel. I mean, we all know what that looks like, but it doesn't test for black pastel or Barnhart. We're keeping those for research too, because we suspect that's probably that 3rd mutation. So that's one of those pretty common tests that we do. And it's not uncommon for me to come across one that's negative for both. At this point, we've been testing Barnhart for free just to find out if it's not Barnhart or the more common black pastel, so that we can gather up those other sheds. So black pastel is probably not one that we need on, but that's just because we get so many already.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah, with black pastel and red stripe, I think we have enough, like people that we're already communicating with. I would say that we've got enough coming, that once we hit either one of those, we'll have enough sheds that we'll be able to confirm that for sure. So
yeah. Let's see, we don't have a fire panel yet, but how close are we to a fire panel, do you think?
I wish I could tell you. It's all just depends on some luck. That searching for a needle in a haystack we talked about before. So it could be real quick, or it could be that it takes a while. So
yeah,
we'll see.
We did do an episode on how we develop morph testing, or how we develop a genetic test. I think that was 5 episodes ago, something like that. But if you just look up how we develop genetic tests on our YouTube channel, you'll find that and see why the process is so convoluted sometimes. Let's see. I can answer this one. There is high OD. Unless there's just another OD that we think there is there, in which case, that would be a bad question.
Yeah, so far OD and high OD test, we can't tell them apart. Our test picks up both. If there was another line of OD that our test calls negative, have you had anyone tell you that, Sean?
No, I've never had anybody send me a picture and go, this is obviously Orange Dream. And I'm like, no, you're definitely right. And our test doesn't pick it up. It's always can you guys tell me the difference between a high OD and an OD? And right now, the general consensus is that OD is OD, and the high part of OD is probably something else that breeders have been selecting for years and just didn't know it. But it's probably something else. We don't know for sure, but that's what makes the most sense.
Yeah. From Prophecy of the Red Stripes is acting allelic with confusion and acid. My buddy had 9 eggs from a confusion red stripe, GHI yellow belly clown, and hypo clown.
Yeah, so this is a question of whether red stripe and confusion / acid if those essentially can act like a super, or kind of similar to like what Yellow Belly and Spectre and Spark and Gravel and Asphalt, you know, if that's what we also would see with Confusion and Red Stripe. And there have been several breeders have this experience where it seems like they are acting like a super. We have some data that backs that up, but we don't know for sure yet. So that's something we're still gathering data on. And like I said earlier, with Red Stripe, maybe not all red stripes are the same. So maybe some have that linkage and some don't. I don't know. We're still learning. We're still digging into that. So we'll hopefully we will 100% have a very good episode on that once we know for sure. Either way, but right now we're still figuring it out. But yes, we've seen that with multiple. That's probably 5 or 6 different breeders now that we know have had a experience like that, where it looks like they're acting like a super. So we'll see.
Cool. All right, we're at 1 hour and 10. Are we missing anything else?
Have you shown all of the graphics that we had for the episode?
We have everything. The rest are just another little bit about the spider complex that we do have now. So if you're looking to get for $100, this is a larger complex, so it does take a bit longer for that test to come out. So it'll come out with the 45 morph panels. But yeah, you can get, I think that's 10 tests.
Yep.
Yeah, 10 in the spider complex. So we do have that. And then
do you have my email address handy?
Yes, I do.
One of the things, if you could pop it up, my kind of final meeting with the website developer tomorrow, one of the things I have to hand them is some testimonials. If you guys have used our service and you're happy with what we've been able to do for you, if you could send me an email with just a little write-up on, it doesn't have to be a paragraph, just a couple of lines. Hey, I've used these guys. They were really helpful, whatever, anything you could say that's nice. I'll get you in our kind of rotating testimonials banner. You'll be up there with Justin Kiboka and several other breeders that we do business with. And, I'd like to have a couple of dozen, but they sort of dropped it in my lap on Monday. So I'm scrambling to get as many as I can. So if any of you guys have used us in the past, you're happy with what we've been able to do for you, just send me a little tiny blurb with the name of your business and your name personally, and I'll make sure you're added to that kind of rotating list of, think of it as a Google review, right?
Yeah.
It's short and sweet, so it's easy to post. So thank you for that. I didn't mean to interrupt again, but.
Oh no, it's okay. And think of it as like a free little mini ad for your business. It'll pop up on our website. Got your name. It's like that name recognition.
Jesse, if he's still here, already sent us one. So.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you, Jesse. Let's see. Don says, Sean, I'll write out our story about Putsy.
Yeah, that was a whole journey.
Oh. Awesome. All right. But yeah, we do have our 45 morph panel test. It used to be 30, but now for only $9 more, it is a 45 morph panel test. And yeah, and then we still have our morph testing bundles. So if you want to get both either on Clutch or Morph Market, if you want to get a discount by just ordering a little bundle of tests, 2, 3, 4 or more, then you can get those for a reduced price. So I think that's all we had for the morph map thing. We were going to bring that on if Tommy was going to join us today, but I think she is not feeling well.
Yeah, so we're thinking of you, Tommy. Get feeling better. We
love you, Tommy. But yeah, I think that's all we have for today, you guys.
Awesome.
Sweet. Well, yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do all the things that tells the YouTube algorithm that we're cute and that other people should see us. And, we also do, cool genetic stuff too, I guess. So thank you guys. And I guess we'll call that a night. And we will be on live streaming on Thursday afternoon. So be on the lookout for that too. Ben, Sean, you got anything before we call it a day?
I think we hit everything. Keep an eye out for the new website, like I said, and hit up my daughter's podcast, please. You'd be doing me a favor.
Yes, please. All right. We'll see you guys. Thanks so much. And we'll do our little outro now.